Hi everyone, welcome back to another Vlogmas video. Today is October 30th, 2020, the day before Halloween, the day before the second full moon of this month. Watch my previous videos of October, November, what that was like for me, because this is an intense time. And I'm not going to go into it this video, but I am filming these vlogs ahead of time because I simply don't have time to do all of them in December, and December is fast approaching, and while I'm very excited to get there for many reasons now, not just because I'm looking forward to this content, I'm kind of very curious to see how this country turns out here in America and what happens in December as well, but I digress. Today, I'm going to be sharing with you my favorite YouTube channels, in hopes that it provides some insight into me as a content consumer, not just a content creator. A lot of these channels you probably will already know, and let me know in the comments if you like these channels, if you follow these channels, as well as your favorite channels that are within these topics. I've kind of like separated the channels that I'll be mentioning today into topics. So if like you have a recommendation for me, please share it with me. I struggle with finding anything that I like in media, like not just YouTube channels, but I have trouble finding books, fiction that I like reading. I have trouble finding shows that I like to watch because most of what's out there, I don't know, I'm going to try to say this without offending anyone, but like it's made for the masses, okay? It's made for entertainment, and it's usually doesn't go beyond that. And I'm looking for something different in a YouTube channel. I'm looking to learn something. I'm looking to experience a different level of fulfillment other than ooh and ah and drama. Like I can't fucking get into it. I was having this conversation the other day with someone about how like sitcoms are torture to me. Like it's just not all of them. There are some of them that I like. It's rare, but you know, it's like a sitcom is like, oh, a joke, ha, joke, ha, joke, ha, and then it's just over and over and over and over and over again until it's just the same thing over and over again. Like I don't know how people find that entertaining too, because a lot of it is also very boring. So like I have an entertainment category in here. I do like to laugh and be amused, but usually it falls along a different criteria than I feel most people have, let's just say. And yeah, I'm just always looking to be fulfilled in a meaningful way. Like, what can I learn about the human condition from watching this? What skill can I acquire from learning this? What philosophical discussions does this bring up? How is this interesting? You know, like just, and that could be so many different things. And I think, unfortunately, with how everything works, you know, it's always been this way in everything, you know, within books, within all kinds of media, and now it's on YouTube. What seems to be popular now are these channels that are just the same content over and over again, repackaged in a pretty way, if that makes any sense. Like, you have to be entertaining, first of all, so usually that's something that's just very easy to watch and is just put together in a very beautiful way. I'm not gonna like sit here and tell you these people don't have any talent, because editing is very hard, and these people, most of them, do an amazing job of editing, so I'm not gonna talk shit about that. But at the same time, it's like I'll start to like follow a channel and be like, yeah, this is great, but then it's just the same video over and over and over and over again. And I find myself getting then tired of that channel and then moving on to something else. And you will notice that on my channel, yes, numerology is a big part of it, but it's not a numerology channel. It's a channel on consciousness. And no two videos are exactly alike. You know, I have my playlists that follow a theme, But metanoia is transformation, and my whole thing is that you can't transform anything without looking at it. So this channel is also like an exploration, and it's me being kind of frustrated as a YouTube content consumer with following a channel and having everything being exactly the same all the time, and no one really having a lot of original ideas. And like, for example, let's choose the topic of spirituality on YouTube, a spiritual based channel. Decks. Every video is just a deck unboxing. And then I think, like, I would like to hear your thoughts on something else, like, what do you think about this? Like, I just can't watch 100 videos of people opening a box and showing stuff, And the same thing for channels who are like reading channels. It's like always the same thing. And I think that's what they're best at. That's what they're most interested in. So yeah, that's what they should do most of the time. But I want to know what else you have to say, Like, what do you feel about this? This is going on in the world right now. What do you have to say about that? Or what are your other interests related to spirituality? I would like to see that. That would be really cool. And then what they end up having to do is create a second channel or a third channel. And it gets crazy, and it's like we're just brands, We're just brands here on YouTube, and it's like a popularity contest, and you got to fit in these tiny little niche boxes. And I'm very, very bored. I'm so incredibly bored with the narrow branding channels that YouTube has become. I think one person once told me, like, I like your channel because it reminds me of the early 2000s when it was just like people speaking their minds and being creative and being original mostly. And we don't really see a lot of that anymore, because it's like now you got to tailor your video to this system, and it's really I don't know what the right word for it is, but it's stifled, I think, a lot of natural creativity from people. And so we see literally people branding themselves and becoming influencers and becoming like fake caricatures of things, like we saw with reality television when that's first started. So if you have any recommendations of channels that's maybe are original in this way, that's stray even a little bit away from that, I would be very interested in hearing about that, no matter what topic they are too. Like, I'm interested in many different things, so please share them with me. But this is becoming a very long vlog, so I apologize. But now I'm going to get into it. My favorite channels on YouTube. The first one I would like to talk about is Meditative Mind, which creates these amazing meditative sounds and backdrops for people to meditate on, or help them sleep, or it feels like a spa music kind of channel, if that makes any sense, although that's very like a limiting thing to say. It's actually amazingly beautiful in many ways. It's not just the sounds. Like, the sounds are very vibrant and crisp and clear and powerful, but they have like these amazing visual backdrops that are animated, and it's like graphic art a lot of the times. And I would really love to know who's behind that channel and how they create that combination of sound and images. I'm always amazed by so many YouTubers, and I'm like, how did you put all this together? Like, I want to always know, like, how, I want to see this happen. I want to see your process, because it's so inspiring. And Meditative Mind, I think, does an incredible service on YouTube to any followers, because I mean, I wake up most weekends and go to Meditative Mind and start my day off like that, to like try the best I can to get in the right frame of mind. And whether I am sitting on the couch listening to it while I have my morning smoothie, or it's just on in the background as I'm doing chores or what have you, it feels extremely therapeutic, and that's why I recommend Meditative Mind. Another channel that I follow that I really like and have mentioned many times in my videos is Angel Souls, and that is run by a woman named Michelle Patterson. And I appreciate her so much because it really is incredibly authentic and honest and straightforward with she gets real. Like, she gets real with what's happening. She calls everyone out on their bullshit. That's my favorite thing about her, is that she doesn't care that she's being this way or that way, or she's not trying to exploit us, is what I'm trying to say. That's another thing about like how and why I can't really get into most of the card readers and most of the channels within spirituality, is because I can tell they are selling something. A lot of readers exploit your emotions. They talk about a lot of things that you want to hear. They'll just say what you want to hear. They know what you want to hear, so they'll say it. And they create this very unhealthy, like, dependent relationship with their followers, like trying to basically get into their minds, like, you need me to know this, and take their money, take their time, their attention, etc. And Michelle Patterson is just the exact opposite of this. In fact, in one of her videos, she said, I do this work with the hope that one day I don't have to. That all of you guys can tune in on your own and be this thing that everyone can be, which is everything that she's about. You know, that was her video, so I'm not gonna like put words in her mouth, but that is exactly how I feel about metanoia numerology. It's like, you guys can all do this. You don't need me to learn about numerology, to know a lot about numerology, to be someone who is always striving to be better through metanoia, through a spiritual transformation. I'm not selling you something. And it's like, yes, monetary support helps me eat and have shelter so that I can continue to do this. And you do vote with your money in that way, but I'm not here to take your money and that's it. And unfortunately, and probably a lot of channels that you guys are following right now, they're doing this. And it's very apparent to me, but apparently not to other people. Especially with the people in this community who's very, very caught up on magical thinking. It's just so easy, unfortunately, to manipulate people like that into thinking something that like they get like high off of an idea, and now they're disconnected from reality. And we're all here to be human. Michelle Patterson from Angel Soul says that all the time. Like, we're here to be human. Okay, the angels are here to help us through our human journey. And so I appreciate her so much for being a very popular channel who does this and calls people out on their bullshit when she sees it. And that's all I have to say. I'm just really glad she's here. I recommend her channel. Go check her out. The next one that I would like to talk about is New Paradigm Astrology with Kay Pasha. And I have been with this channel the longest. Like, basically from, it must have been like 2013, 2012. So almost 10 years now that I've been following this channel. And probably the only channel that I've really stuck with, who has stayed grounded and just continues to be incredibly insightful. throughout this unfolding of the human story. I am extremely grateful for K-Pasha in this way, and I'm actually taking a workshop through New Paradigm Astrology on discovering your soul's purpose, which I have been documenting, or rather will be documenting, in my end of October, beginning of November vlog. So if you're curious to know how that workshop went, check those out. But yeah, so I'm for the first time after following that channel for so long, I finally get to learn a little bit more about astrology and hopefully discover more about myself along the way. And what I like about K-Pasha is, like, I don't know how to explain it. It's just I followed and watched many other astrologers, and there's something about the way he can blend what's happening that I haven't seen other astrologers do. I don't want to say he's more accurate, because I don't think that's the right measure of basically evaluating an astrologer, but rather like what needs to be looked at and what needs to be discussed. And it's like he always like just brings up that thing that I felt but I couldn't articulate, and I appreciate that so much, because I've tried other astrologers and they don't quite get to what I feel is going on in the undercurrents of it all. And I have really enjoyed his perspective in learning the tiny bit of astrology that I have learned from him. Astrology does overwhelm me, but I do see astrologers using numerology as kind of like a supplement in their practice. And I've always wondered if I could do the same with astrology as a numerologist. So that is something that I'm always interested in exploring. And as I said before, check out the links in the description to see what he's all about if you don't follow him. But he's very popular, so I would be surprised if you didn't know about New Paradigm Astrology, that whole team. The next channel that I want to share with you guys is Dr. Steven Greer. All of his stuff, and actually I need to double check and make sure I have the name of the channel right. I mean, Dr. Steven Greer. Yeah, okay, so it's Dr. Steven Greer has a channel himself, and he might have a separate channel for serious disclosure as well. I'm not sure, but all of his work I recommend following. I don't even know how to unpack his work to you. You're just gonna have to like check it out. It's too much to discuss in this video, but I discovered him through his first documentary on Netflix, and I had always believed in extraterrestrials, which is what he's about. His mission is basically to help human beings be an ambassador to other civilizations and other worlds through meditation, through consciousness. And it is, I don't know how to put in words the importance of his work. Think about the transformation that would take place if we finally fully disclosed and acknowledged, first of all of history, and then the fact that we are on spaceship Earth, flying on a rock through space around a star, throughout billions and trillions of everything else, of stars, of planets, in millions of galaxies in the multiverse, So we're not alone, and the reason how the way that we know we're not alone is that, guess what, life has happened. That's how we know it can. So it's going to happen again. And Dr. Steven Greer is basically the only person in the forefront of this disclosure that I trust, because throughout this process of exploring these things, a lot of people have been given misinformation, trying to instill fear in the public that, they're our enemy, which is not true. And just for so many reasons, Dr. Steven Greer is very much trying to expose how we've been conditioned to fear the unknown, and we can be controlled in this way and united against a common good, which is just to basically open the floodgates to the military-industrial complex and allow them for us to be a war planet. This is why we don't get to have the highest levels of technology, because we will turn them into a weapon and kill us all and everything with it, including potentially these other civilizations. So we could have like a real Star Wars situation on our hands within the next few hundred years. He's trying to stop it now, because it's happening now, where we're being conditioned to perceive this threat that isn't real. And so that is a very, very short summary of what Dr. Steven Greer is doing. But his life is actually amazing, and I also trust him more because he started off as an ER doctor. Not to say that a lot of people who are representing us in the spiritual communities are, how do I put this, like stupid or unintelligent or unread in any way, but I went to a pre-med school for my, my environmental studies degree. I've taken a very in-depth academic journey with my love of science and academics, and I trust a person who has the literacy of someone who went through what you have to go through to be an ER doctor and then be a volunteer soul in that way, and wanting to save lives and deciding we have to save everyone eventually, right, from this paradigm. This is one of the ways someone needs to do it, is to basically give us our own sovereignty within the universe, which is what he's trying to do, amongst other things, based in love and compassion, not fear. And he communicates in a very intelligent, very presentable way that is very much, it's grounded, it's based in logic, it's based in things that I can't see in other people who just seem to be chasing ideas and chasing feelings and emotions without actually being grounded in that knowledge. So that's why I trust Dr. Steven Greer as of right now with that movement. Please check him out, and please, if you haven't done so already, watch his documentaries. They are on, I don't know if they're still on Netflix, but I know Unacknowledged is one of them, is on Hulu, I believe. And he just put out another one. So go down that rabbit hole if you're bored. If you're bored this winter, I recommend that. Okay, so moving on from kind of like spirituality and mindfulness, I want to go into some more like personal interests, and that I guess would be starting with science. My favorite channel right now is Crime Pays, but Botany doesn't. And it is about botany, but it is it is told through the perspective of a salty Chicago Italian walking around the wilderness, giving a very honest perspective of life in this world that we're living in right now. And this is going to be very contradictory because he shits on New Agers all the time. But the thing is, I can see where he's coming from. And I understand what he's saying, and I even agree with him a lot of the time. You know, he lives in California, where the culture is to have trendy spirituality, and so definitely when he goes on a rant about the New Agers, he's right. They are often, unfortunately, very inconsiderate of, for example, the plants that they harvest in the wild for their, what he calls, potions, but really they're usually like tinctures and like medicinal things for us. And it's to me the battle between being too right-brained or too left-brained. It's like when you just want to follow your heart and your emotions all the time, and spirituality, and be immersed in magical thinking, but then that left brain logic, analytical, critical ability is completely lost. The element of science that I embrace and love and is a part of my life so much is lost. So you get these people harming themselves, harming the environment, taking endangered plants that could potentially be very damaged and not be able to come back from their harvests for these magical things that may or may not be helpful. You know, it's like, I appreciate him so much. His name's Joe, I think. He's got like many different names, I think, on his like Instagram and YouTube and stuff. So, but I think his name's Joe, and he's just fucking hilarious. I love learning about plants through his channel, and I'm being entertained at the same time. A lot of, I guess, I don't know, I grew up in New York, so I don't find him offensive at all. I find him extremely refreshing, even when he's shitting on people who collect rocks and plants. I'm like, yeah, like, you need to have the ability to make fun of yourself, you know, in this community, because, yeah, it's weird to have a bookcase full of rocks and decks, you know, like, it's just, you know, you gotta be able to have this, which so many people are lacking, and his channel is one of the ways that while he's teaching us about botany, he's really bringing that mirror up to us that we need to look at. So I recommend Crime Pays, but Botany doesn't. If you have been following my Vlogmas journey, you know that one of my interests is gardening, and I have two channels, two people that I would like to recommend today for any of you out there who would like to learn gardening, or if you are interested in it already, know a lot, and would like to follow some channels. The first one is Self-Sufficient Me. First of all, I just love the name because gardening is kind of an act of anarchy. It's saying, like, we don't rely on the grocery stores anymore. It's about being self-sufficient. Me as an Aquarius, in most signs, we're very self-sufficient people. That's part of the reason why gardening has always been attractive to me. But there's so much to love about his channels. Not only are they incredibly helpful, and you will learn a lot from his channel, he's just got like a dad humor about him, so it's entertaining at the same time. You know, he's not just showing us, this is how you grow this is how you grow this. He's like, I tried this and this is what happened. Or here's a recipe, here's something that you can do with this crop. Not just like about each plant and like, that's it. He's trying to run a self-sufficient household, and that's like a long journey trying to go back to that. And seeing how someone can do that, for someone like me who has always wanted a homestead, if I could have it my way, I would love a homestead and a garden with the plants and the animals, you know, the chickens and the rabbits and the goats, and then, you know, go to my day job as a fisheries biologist or whatever, and then come home to a living environment that is sustaining me and being self-sufficient. I would love to have a homestead, and he's one of the people who have helped me kind of determine, like, if I do end up there one day, this is the foundational concepts that you're going to need to take on. And the second person that I'm going to mention is Kevin from Epic Gardening and now Epic Homesteading now. And he is just an encyclopedia of knowledge. Like, he has something insightful and useful to say about everything. I don't know how. Especially because, like, at least from his timeline that I've seen on his channel where he talks about himself, like, I don't know how he learned so much in a short amount of time, but man, he picked it up. And he's doing awesome. Like, his channel is doing amazing, and I'm so happy for him because you can tell he works very hard. He is very business minded, so I think he just knew exactly what he was doing while he was doing it in the beginning, and so there's part of the reason is that. But he's just very genuine in his everything. Like, you can tell he wants you to love gardening and to know more about gardening. I gotta sneeze, hold on. Oh, okay. You can tell he's very concerned with you learning what's how to garden, no matter where you are. In fact, I think that his main springboard for his entire channel is specifically urban gardening, because most of us don't have a homestead. Most of us, maybe we don't even like really have a backyard. So like, how do you garden with that? Like, he helps you figure that out. And that is most of us trying to figure out how to incorporate any plants that we can in our living space, because this is kind of the way of the future. And he doesn't talk about it like this mostly on his channel, but like, the way that I see it is that to help people become independent in this way, like with the self-sufficient me, everything, and what he's doing with trying to raise awareness on how to garden with Kevin. It's just like, this to me is kind of an area of consciousness, because we are plummeting to a climate crisis. Knowing how to grow your own food, not relying on an external source, supporting farmers markets, etc. Like, this is the way of the future. These people are kind of going out on the frontier and making it entertaining and making it palatable and making it interesting and easily understandable, making it this way for people is so important because of where we're going. I think a lot of these channels became popular just because we were stuck inside for a long time. I think 2020, people started to get into gardening because they didn't know what else to do, which I guess is okay. But really, like, we need to know how to grow our own food. And it is a learning curve. Like, a lot of gardening is just trial and error. It's just like doing the best that you can to research beforehand, but then you don't really know how it's going to go until you do it. And people need to know how these basic everyday things are grown. It is, and I think I've talked about this already in my other videos, my other vlogs throughout the year when I was talking about gardening. But yeah, also Kevin is fucking adorable. I just watched one of his videos the other day. He was like, he played a song like in the beginning of his video, and he's adorable. I love Kevin. Check out Epic Gardening, Homesteading, and Self-Sufficient Me if gardening is something that you want to pursue. Now I'm going to move on to just stuff that I watch for shits and giggles. And that, I'm going to start off with the Try Guys. And they are very popular, so I'm sure a lot of you know about them. What I love about them is how they tackle toxic masculinity, they're just friends, they're just human beings who are friends, having a good time on this tumultuous journey of life, trying things, never stop trying things. That's kind of like their message. I love that message. I love what they're doing. So like I find it entertaining and I find them comical and funny, but at the same time it's like it's kind of like a deep message that they have going on there. And so I appreciate what they're doing. I also watch First We Feast. First of all, I love spicy food. Eventually, one of these days, I gotta buy some of their sauces and experience it because I love spicy food so much. And I want to see what my threshold is after watching so many videos from them. If you don't know, First We Feast is like an interview-based, I guess you could say, channel where this guy, Sean Evans, interviews a guest, and while he's asking these people questions, they have to eat these spicy wings, like this increasing level of spicy wings. So like somewhere by the end, they're like crying and in pain, and they still gotta answer these questions. And a lot of the times their reactions are very entertaining. But throughout the process, you can see that person opening up. Like there's something about, eating spicy wings with someone creates like a very unique atmosphere for people to be, answering these questions about themselves. And Sean Evans does his homework before. Like he does his homework on the people he's interviewing. And you can tell because he'll like ask a question and the people he's interviewing will be like, you're really good at this. Like you know more about me than I know about me. And so that's really nice to like pay respects to the person that you're interviewing, because a lot of times I feel like, I'll, not just like on television with the tabloids and stuff, but like you look at these interviews like through other channels and something about it is like, is this really what we want to know about the artist, or the human being behind this, So I appreciate the kinds of questions that they ask as well, not just the fact that they're eating spicy wings and that's fun. The last channel that I'm going to mention in this video, and I could mention more, but I've decided to like cap it off because this video is going to be too long, is related to my interest in the culinary arts as well as something that's entertaining, and that is You Suck at Cooking. In fact, I have the book to that channel. Hold on, I'll be right back. Here's the book that I bought from this guy's channel. It's an amazing blend of comedy and culinary arts, and just I find him really funny. I don't know what else to say, but I find him hilarious. But at the same time, a lot of his recipes are very good. So I like to collect these niche cookbooks. I have this really nice book on wine. I just bought this like book on edibles. So I like to collect niche items like this within the cooking world, the culinary world. And this guy just perfectly fits that interest, that niche interest that I have. I don't know how to explain him. He is extremely, I don't know how to explain his humor. I just don't know. It's like dry and ridiculous at the same time. So yeah, check out You Suck at Cooking if you like the culinary arts and you want to have a good laugh, or you want something weird and interesting. So that's all I have to say today about my favorite YouTube channels. I feel like I could go on. There's more that I watch, but I will spend literally half an hour just talking at you guys about this. So that's all I want to say. Instead, I would rather hear what you guys like to watch at this point. I would love to know if there's any of this that you like as well. And also, regarding like culinary stuff, if you guys have any good recommendations for a wine channel, because I love wine and I've been on the hunt for a good channel that helps me learn more about wine. I haven't really found it yet. I found a couple, but not exactly what I'm looking for. So if you have any recommendations with any channel at all, please let me know, but especially if you know a good channel on learning about wine, please tell me. And it's a freezing cold, wet day. I am in a weird mood and I'm very tired, so I am going to, I think, cook up some soup after this video, spend the rest of the day editing. I hope that everything in December is okay, not knowing what the future brings at this very pivotal time in history. But yeah, as always, thank you so much for watching. Stay tuned for the next video. Let me know if you would like to see a specific vlog from me, although I don't know when I'm going to be posting this video, so by the time you see it, it might already be closed. That window of opportunity might be closed, but just in case it hasn't, let me know, and I will see you all soon. All right, take care, guys. Love you so much.